Why there is a negative perception of bureaucracy in our society?
What do you mean by the word Rohini?
Which part of Vedanga deals with this art?
Please tell us about information management.
What are the challenges for India as president of this summit in 2023?
May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
A very good afternoon to one and all. My name is Srishti Bhatt. I am from Delhi. I did my BTech in Computer Science from Delhi University, and currently I am an officer trainee in Indian Information Services.
You are already working in Indian Information Service. Which year did you qualify?
Sir, last year I am undergoing training right now.
You are undergoing training. Okay, so you have not seen the working of Indian bureaucracy from close quarters.
Sir, I am getting acclimatized to it.
Getting acclimated. Now tell me, why there is a negative perception of bureaucracy in our society?
So one of the prime reason is less outreach, because people feel that they are not easily accessible, which creates a perception that yes, there is high-headedness amongst the bureaucracy. Sir, second is lack of transparency and responsiveness, which again connects to my first point. So sir, these are the two reasons why I feel that there's trust deficit.
Okay, trust deficit. As far as the bureaucrats themselves are concerned, if you ask me, they suffer from two big problems. One is indecision and another is risk aversion. What is your take on this?
Sir, I will not call it indecision, because I feel that there is a proper channel which leads to delay, and sometimes it can be termed as red tapeism. And sir, second, for instance, sir,
risk aversion is the second point I mentioned.
Yes, sir, there are two types of errors that can happen: the bona fide and the mala fide error. Because of this, a bureaucrat becomes a little apprehensive that, for instance, there cannot be any legal proceedings against them which can be apprehending their career as well. So this is the reason for risk aversion.
Do you think that any change is required in the way bureaucrats are trained in our system, or everything is going hunky-dory?
So definitely there is a scope for improvement. One is bureaucrats need to be well versed with the latest technological developments, which can improve governance and reduce risk as well. Sir, second is channelization of the proper channelization, which you talked about, the delays in the decision making. That can be streamlined, connecting to my first point, through technology only. And sir, third is we have missions like Mission Karma Yogi, which are well in place to make bureaucrats aware about the latest developments as far as even governance mechanisms are concerned.
In the Mission Karma Yogi, it is stated that the bureaucrats should work on the principles of role-based positions, not rule-based. What does it convey?
So, role-based positions, for example, if a bureaucrat is working under health, whatever that is needed, they should be fluid enough to change according to the situation. When we talk about rule-based administration, it becomes little structured and I would say static. So as per me, there should be a combination of both rule and role-based bureaucracy.
There is a very thin line of demarcation between the rule and the role, isn't it? Role is based on rules only.
Yes, sir.
So how will you ensure, can you break a certain provision or certain rule to play a role-based service, give a role-based service?
So there are laws well in place that protect a bureaucrat if there is any kind of diversion from a particular rule, but it is good for the role concerned. So for example, there are protections under the Constitution as well. The removal of bureaucrat can be by the authority that has appointed a particular bureaucrat. Similarly, even the courts take into consideration that if there is a particular mistake while carrying out a role which goes against the rule, that is that is reflected and they take it into consideration. And
what is going to be your role as a member of Indian Information Service?
So my role as a member of Indian Information Service would be to provide credible information at the right time.
Do you think in the modern age is possible for you to provide credible information with the social medias being so active? Is it possible for the government?
Yes, sir. The latest IT amendment rules which happened very recently, they are taking these things into consideration. For example, they have empowered the PIB fact check unit to ensure that the bureaucrats are able to play their role and control any kind of misinformation and disinformation.
What are your views on the current BBC controversy?
Sir, if any kind of journalism is portraying its right of freedom of speech and expression under Article 19, that needs to be well in sync with the journalistic intent of providing information and not misguiding people or infringing national security or international relations of a particular country with other partners. So, sir, if BBC's documentary is affecting any of these, then, sir, it needs to be curbed.
Okay, thank you.
Srishti, you're basically from Delhi.
Yes.
And I can see that you have done graduation in engineering.
Yes.
Graduation in engineering from a commerce college.
Yes.
That's strange. Why you opted for a commerce college to do engineering? There might not even be a mechanical workshop in the college.
Sir, this was a new program under FYUP which came, and wherein my college, being a college of commerce, had already well in place a BSc Computer Science program. So there were labs for transforming it to BTech, and it is AICTE approved.
I know, that's a technical aspect. But why would an engineering student will choose a commerce college to do engineering degree, where obviously apart from the mainstream commerce teachers and other infrastructure and teaching facility will not be available as is available to engineering college students. You could have gone across the road into any run-of-the-mill engineering college and get an actual engineering degree.
Sir, even the degree that I have, it is actual. And sir, I went through the college pedagogy and I had seen the labs there. There were 2 labs. Even for commerce, they have separate computer science lab.
Yeah, but no civil engineering lab, no mechanical engineering lab, which other computer science graduates do get.
Yes, sir. Sir, in our course, we needed a computer science lab. So that was well in place there. So it was also a logistic and transportation issue.
You have studied this engineering thing. Tell me, what is GPT and ChatGPT? You're also an IAS officer. It's a good enough threat to IAS officers, the ChatGPT.
So first, talking about ChatGPT, this is an application by OpenAI, and it is an artificial intelligence model which is generating ready-made content as per a person's questions concerned.
Give me the under the hood thing. This thing a BA pass student will tell me. I'm asking an engineering graduate.
Sir, as an engineer...
What is GPT and ChatGPT?
Sir, I am not able to recollect.
What are transformers?
Generative programming.
No, it's pre-trained transformers. What is transformer in terms of computer science engineering?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect.
You can look at it.
Yes,
if you're a Delhi person, Delhi unfortunately is called rape capital, and obviously the crime against women is not really. It's not really a very nice state of affairs in Delhi. Why is it so? Despite being a national capital and having all the infrastructure available, why crime against women in Delhi are at such a high state? You took sociology, so I'm expecting a sociological perspective.
Sir, sociologically, if we see, Delhi being a metropolitan city, there are more and more cases, reporting of the cases, which is actually the transparency that we have in Delhi police. So women empowerment is more in place in the metropolitan city, and girls are more confident to speak out. Sir, second is there are migration. Delhi is a migration capital as well. So people coming from different arenas of the country, So there is cultural indifferentiation, I would say, because of which such incidents they can happen in future as well. So third is there is more women mobility, which can be the reason why girls are exposed to such incidents.
You mentioned about migration, and it's true that usually the migration, the greater chunk is a male migration, but yes, female migration towards Delhi is also there. What are the schemes and other support available for migrant women in Delhi?
So for protection,
for welfare?
sir, as far as protection is concerned, there is an app called Himmat app for women, and also the Delhi police has initiated a Mahila Shaktikaran program wherein they are training women in self-defense, and also amongst the areas which are which have more migrant population, there are sensitization programs wherein the government is telling them the rights that are there in place for them. As far as general empowerment of women is concerned, sir, Delhi government has a public transport which actually adds on to women's safety, I feel, because public transport are more secure compared to private transport. And second, subsidized travel for women, which promotes them to have access to the transport facility. And also, sir, there are Anganwadis in Delhi also and SHG's programs which are helping in women empowerment through economic means.
Okay, last one from me. You're coming from Rohini, right?
Yes.
What do you mean by the word Rohini? Why would any subcity or any colony be named Rohini?
Sir, culturally, if I see, Rohini is a nakshatra in our culture.
Where is it? Where can we see this nakshatra?
Sir, I'm not aware of the location as such. I think it's a mythological name given to a nakshatra. And sir, also culturally, if I see, Rohini was a spouse of Sri Krishna. Or no, she was the younger sister of Sri Krishna.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Look at it, please. No, sorry.
Srishti, you won third prize in journal level Geet Govind Slok Ucharan competition.
Yes, sir.
That is. So you have, I think, developed in this habit of or liking for proper pronunciation of words and sounds.
Yes, sir. I learned it through my teacher in Sanskrit.
So which part of Vedanga deals with this art?
Chanting of the. Sir, it is Samved.
What is Vedanga? How many Vedangas are there?
Sorry, sir, I'll read about it.
You love singing classical music. So what has been the contribution of Sufi Khankas in development of music in India?
Sir, the Sufi Khankas have played a very important role in the development of Hindustani classical. For example, the Delhi Gharana was initiated by Amir Khusrau ji. And also the Sufi Khankas, they played a very prominent role in the introduction of Khayal system. So initially there were Dhrupad, but now we sing more of Khayals in music. And also, sir, Bhakti in music. Bhakti, that is an emotion of the Navras that is initiated through the Sufism.
Gandhiji also advocated the role of prayer in public domain. How do you feel that prayer can play a role in public administration, particularly musical prayers?
Sir, one thing of prayer assembly is that it unifies people, brings them together. Even in our school days, we had assemblies. And sir, if you remember, prayer is a form of a meditation. Actually, it increases the focus. And also music, it plays a very important role in ensuring mental balance. There have been rags like Rag Todi and all. So they play a very important role in music therapy. So these three things can also help in administration as well.
That's good. Public opinion management was practiced even in ancient and medieval times when there was monarchy. But in democratic countries, in India and other countries, public opinion management is taken as a specialized profession of bureaucrats. As an information officer, you will also be deployed in that job sometimes. Do you think this is compliant to the democratic values of a Republican democratic country? management of public opinion?
Yes, sir. In a democracy, people's wish is of the foremost importance. So, management of public opinion management, it is important for a bureaucrat to know that a particular policy is in sync with people's expectation, number one. Second, how much are people aware? Depends on their feedback. How much are they getting in return? So, third is outcome calculation. For that also public opinion management is of prime importance. And Indian Information Services, we have feedback units that take into consideration that when a particular news is put in place, what is the kind of feedback that we are getting for that? So yes, sir.
Okay. My final question is that even in medieval times, a special technique was used to convey messages, particularly the messages of the state. And can you explain what kind of technique was used? And that entire conveyance of the message was very quick.
Sir, I remember one form wherein during the medieval times, I think from Delhi, there was a concept of dark. So they used to travel via horse and disseminate information. The speed of dissemination was tremendous. And I think, sir, that was through a public chain, because at that time we were not having any kind of form of telecommunication.
In modern technological parlance, that technique is called what? Is it called a relay technique?
Yes, sir, it can be.
And can you expand CDMA and its implied technique in that?
Sir, I'm not aware of this concept. Can you please elaborate a little?
That is what I want you to do. CDMA.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, never mind. Thank you.
Srishti, you are from Information Service. Please tell us about information management.
Sir, information management deals with what, how, when, and for whom. So, what is to be disseminated? You need to collect the sources. Through sources, you need to collect the information. When a particular information is supposed to get disseminated so that there is greater outreach. For whom deals with the target audience. For whom, for example, if there is a policy for rural development, there needs to be more transformation through people rather than social media. And if it is talking about urban generation, it can be translated through social media. So, sir, this is...
So, what can be the steps of information management?
So, first is getting a clear, crisp, concise information so that it has a greater impact. It should not be too verbose and it should give preference to what is supposed to get disseminated. So, second, the medium of information dissemination. For that, for example, if we are talking about rural India, that needs to be put through panchayat system or SHGs and in their vernacular language. For dealing with people in urban areas, that can be disseminated through AI and information bubbles that we have in place. So,
okay, you must go through it.
Yes,
fine.
Sir, I will.
The last stage of information management is destruction of the information. Fine. So, is there any process of destruction in government? Destruction of information in government?
Sir, there are archive departments in the government that preserve any kind of important information. They don't destroy it. But sir, I'm not very well aware of the destruction departments in the government.
You will be undergoing some module on information in your curriculum. Yeah. Okay. So my next question is, recently Cabinet has approved Vibrant Village program. What is this program?
So this program is for village development, more specifically in the border areas. So, sir, the prime objective of this scheme is to ensure socio-economic development and also infrastructural development of village dwellers. It is to prevent any kind of security issues of the country.
And how will it be implemented?
Sorry, sir, I'm not.
Okay, fine. What is OECD?
Sir, that's an organization for economic development.
Yeah. So, they have released Service Trade Restrictiveness Index. Do you know about this index?
No, sir.
Okay, so they have ranked India at 47. They are at the bottom 5 actually. So, what are the reasons of India showing so low?
In the trade services, trade of services.
Trade restrictiveness index. It is called STRI. India ranks 47. So, what is the reason of India's low ranking?
So, one reason could be the duties, high duty tariffs that India has in place, and more emphasis to local products. So, that can be taken by the foreign parties as an intervention in their trade, but it is Atmanirbharta for our country. And also there are phytosanitary measures which are well in place. They are for the security of the citizens, but they can be considered as a restriction for outsiders.
Okay, fine. My last question to you, what is this deprivation? What is the meaning of deprivation?
Sir, in economic parlance, it is loss in the value of a particular good over a period of time.
That is depreciation. Deprivation, I am asking. In sociology,
Okay,
deprived society, deprived community.
Yes, sir.
So, what is that deprivation?
Sir, if we talk about social deprivation, that is decline in the mental framework or social network amongst the people. For example, there is a trust deficit between people, or there is we being a heterogeneous society, there is definitely, we are at the prism of modernization. So, because of that, there is deprivation in mindset as well.
Okay, just quick response to this answer, this question. What principles will you adopt to remove deprivation? Just principles. You don't have to explain it, yeah.
So, the prime principle is education. And second principle that should be there in place is giving more importance to civic sense. And third is, sir, building confidence amongst people from different societies to build a social network.
Thank you. Good.
Srishti,
Yes.
India is going to host the G20 summit this year. So, what do you think? What are the challenges for India as president of this summit in 2023?
So, challenges in hosting the G20 summit. Number one could be infrastructure. The land availability is less.
Other than that?
Sir, second is finance. So,
fine. And?
So, third is awareness generation amongst all the sections of society, not just in urban areas.
Okay. What about the geopolitical challenges of bringing all these 19 odd countries and European Union together on one platform? Would that be an easier challenge, or would that be a much more difficult challenge than the one you have listed?
Sir, I think India is catering to this challenge very well, because India has invited many other countries apart from the 19 that are there, 19 plus 1. So, to bring all in one platform for arbitration is something all are looking for. So, I don't think, sir, there will be a challenge.
Okay. What about the last summit? Where was it held, G20? In 2022?
Sir, in 2022, I think Indonesia presided.
Yes, in Bali, Indonesia.
Yes, sir.
So, did Russian president and US president, they were able to come on the same stage?
Sir, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll read it.
Okay. India has taken a position of taking actually no position on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. So, do you think it is wise on our part if we want to be given a seat at the global high table, and then we are not taking a stand, not calling a spade a spade? Do you think it goes well with our ambition?
Sir, I think a person who is at the high table plays the role of an arbitrator, and India's stand has been that only. India calls for democratic talks between the two parties, because, sir, if the high table takes one side, then the other side will feel left out. So, I think India is well in place.
So, even if it is very crystal clear, if it is in black and white, then also we should not take a side. We should always say that, like goody things.
So, we are not saying goody things because there is a national interest in place as well. So, Russia has been a very old and a trusted friend for us, and we know that behind Ukraine there have been Western powers in place. So we need to keep our real politics well in line in this issue as well.
Okay. Recently, the Election Commission has said that even social media should be regulated during the 48-hour period that starts once the campaigning ends. Right. In this day of social media, do you think it is putting a lot of administrative burden on officials to ensure compliance with that, and with very negligible benefit, if any? What is your view on this?
Sir, as per me, there is no official burden because this role has been decentralized. There is a new social media wing in every department, be it CBC, be it PIB, which are handling the social media issues. So they are trained in that way.
Don't you see any challenge, like you can ask people not to campaign in a particular geographical area, but how do you restrict social media access?
Sir, it cannot be restricted. It is going on. But in that phase, there are check units. And I think even EC should now start doing that to put the model code of conduct well in line so that the 48 hours...
So you feel that there should be some restriction on social media also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There has been some controversy over what is a North Star. Can you tell me what is North Star?
Sir, it is one of the stars of the Saptarishi, and initially it was used for navigation purposes.
Okay. So the Vice President has said that Parliament is the North Star, whereas Chief Justice of India has said that basic structure doctrine is our North Star. So which according to you is the correct interpretation, and what is your reason for that?
Sir, like I said that it is the guiding light. Our country is guided by the Constitution. So I feel the Constitution should be the North Star of the country.
So CGI is right.
Sir, CGI talked about the basic structure, which is actually a judicial innovation. So the Constitution should be the North Star.
Okay. Last question, what is toxic Twitter?
Sir, based on this terminology, I feel that it is something which is creating a mental imbalance amongst people. There have been a rise in the crime against women, which is indulging in toxicity, and also naming and shaming, defamation. So this is something which could be toxic Twitter.
Thank you.
Srishti,
Yes,
as we all know, with G20 around, the issue of beautification of Delhi has caught the attention of the state government and the central government in Delhi. Now you are in charge. Now tell me the areas which you will be prioritizing first and how will you go about it?
So for the beautification of Delhi, the area that I'll be prioritizing is the airport route through which the foreign visitors will be coming. So second are the Central Secretariat region of Delhi, and also prime destinations of tourism. For example, we have CP, we have the INA Delhi Heart region. So these will be the areas.
These are the geographical areas.
Yes, sir.
What I intended to ask the question was on the items which will receive your attention for beautification of Delhi.
Sir, I will focus more over the heritage of Delhi. For example, Humayun Tomb, Lodi Garden.
That heritage is one part.
Yes, sir. So second is the crafts that are there in Delhi. Saras Hearts, Delhi Heart, then Delhi Heart in Pitampura, so that it helps in the development of the people belonging to the lower income category as well. And they get a more beautiful platform to showcase their talent and skills. And sir, third is Delhi food areas are something I would like to focus more upon because Delhi's cuisine is next to nothing.
Okay, thank you very much, Srishti. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. May I come in, sir?
Come in. Sit down, Srishti.
Thank you, sir.
So this is going to be your second interview.
Yes, sir.
Achha. And you qualified last year or year before?
Sir, 21 last
21
year.
last year itself. What was your marks in the personality test?
Sir, 163.
163. Not a good marks from a person like you.
Yes, sir.
What went wrong?
Sir, I feel it was first day inertia. My interview was on the very first day.
On the very first day?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
okay. And what kind of questions were generally asked?
Sir, questions were out of my depth. They were like general questions.
General questions.
Factual, more of factual.
I think this trend continues.
Yes,
This year also most of the questions are likely to be factual only, barring a few opinion based questions. It will be factual only. Now you are a member of the civil services now.
Yes.
So your whole questions will be revolving around a different area altogether.
Yes, sir.
Because last year you were aspiring to become a member, this year you have become a member. Have you joined or undergoing training or?
Yes, sir. It's been a month.
It's been a month.
Yes.
So it's all the more important that you should know about the department in which you are working,
Yes.
the functions of those department, and practically because you are have joined a department which is a very controversial department.
Yes, sir.
And with the freedom of expression and fundamental rights and all that, so many controversies are going around this. So questions asked to you, you need to give a very, very balanced view.
Yes, sir.
That is very important for you. As a member of the civil services, your opinions you can't afford to take a very extreme view on anything.
Okay, sir.
Even while defending what the government has been doing, you have to be very balanced.
Okay, sir.
So that balance of judgment is very important for you. Otherwise, you are a very honest person, very simple, meek, humble person. Your communication skill is excellent, I must say. You could communicate your thoughts, communicate your ideas very freely, frankly, and with confidence. That is what is expected of a civil servant. So on that account, you are wonderful, no problem. Now, coming to factual informations and all that.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Number one, our advice that information broadcasting you should.
Okay, sir.
Then you should not be making any guesses. That is very important because one wrong guess, your marks will come down.
Okay, sir.
So you have to display immense honesty and personal integrity throughout your
Okay, sir.
session. That is very important because you see it's a test of your personality, not the knowledge, isn't it? Knowledge has already been tested. So you have been invited and just to see what kind of person you are, whether you have a very balanced opinion or not, whether you can speak freely, frankly or not, whether you are firm or not, whether you are honest or not, whether you can discuss a variety of issues or not, general awareness of what to say.
Okay,
so based on only these parameters, your marks are given. So like one such question, Rohini, you didn't know, is admit, sir, I don't know about it. Heavens will not fall if you don't answer. But instead making a wrong guess and giving a wrong answer, it changes the entire complexion of the interview or the personality test. So make sure that 3, 4, 5, 6 questions also you don't know, admit candidly.
Okay, sir.
But because you have a gift of the gap. So whatever you know, you are capable of explaining it in greater details. And another greater details when I say, then make sure that initially your answers have to be very, very crisp, very, very focused. You must understand the intent of the question and then answer accordingly. Try to catch the central theme of the question and then attempt that. So otherwise, like on this PIB, a question was asked, fact checker. So you said that enough ammunition is available with the government to deal with such situations. That was the intent of your statement, isn't it?
Yes.
So it is there, true. But social media, nobody can contain and control social media, isn't it? So again, a balanced view.
Okay, sir.
Yes, it is there, but then the issues are also there. So the government will have to think of it, devise ways and means on a real-time basis to deal with such situations. Then becomes your a more focused answer. Here is information technology, management theories and all that. I don't know what kind of question will be asked. Sociology is your subject and you are a computer science engineer.
Yes.
These two areas, again, questions you should anticipate.
Okay, sir.
Computer science, basics of computer science, what are the benefits of computer science in this Amrit Kal, how various innovations are being done in the field of the various field of working in the government. So those your apps developed by the government or the platforms developed by the government, you must be remembering at least one or two such apps or platforms in the various areas of government's working, be it innovation, be it industry, be it financial inclusion, social inclusion, infrastructure. So you should be aware of. Budget, you should be thoroughly reading the budget also. So what are the main points in the budget and what are new things which are not there in the earlier budget. So very limited points are there, just note down. So on the what the budget is, how earning estimates are projected, how expenditure is done, when you spend 1 rupee, on what activities you spend 1 rupee, you earn 1 rupee on what activities or through what means you earn 1 rupee. So because you are already a member, so this general awareness should be there on your part. Women related issues, how do you find the role of a woman officer in the bureaucracy, what are handicaps she feels while working in the government sector, what are the suggestions for reformation and all that. That leads to so many other questions also, your internal departmental committee for arising out of your this act, Women's Safety Act and all that. Yeah, so that is all those things. I mean, these are the only intelligent guesses you can make. What questions will be asked, nobody, but you are a good candidate and certainly not a person who could score only 163.
Okay,
They are capable of scoring much better. Just go with an open mind. Another thing is Delhi.
Yes.
All problems of Delhi. Beautification, when we talk of beautification, there are certain institutional problems which also you should be narrating, like the problem of slums in Delhi, problem of landfills in Delhi. So those are major issues, how to take care of those issues and all that. Otherwise, good candidate, communication skill excellent, and you should do much better than what you did last year. All the best from our side. If you have any specific questions to ask, feel free to ask.
Sir, my interview is on the day of Holi.
On the day of 8th or what?
7th.
7th is Holi.
Yes,
8th is, happens to be International Women's Day.
Yes, sir. So I should prepare.
You should prepare.
Prepare,
yeah,
also the interaction and conflict in them.
Okay, sir. And sir, I mean, should I greet them if it is Holi? So, no.
Be formal.
Okay, sir.
Just be formal. Unless they greet you,
okay, sir.
You from your side don't take any initiative to greet them on Holi. Okay. And dress and all, I think you'll be wearing this dress or?
No, sir, different.
Something different. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you.